Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share a story with you. A story that may change the way you look at your problems, and perhaps the way you look at your life. Many of us believe that our problems are too heavy, too painful, or too unfair. We feel trapped, overwhelmed, exhausted. But what if I told you that most problems are not as powerful as they appear? What if the real issue is not the problem itself, but the space we give it inside our hearts? By the end of this story, you may realize a simple but powerful truth. Life does not become easier. We become stronger. So relax, take a deep breath, and stay with me until the end. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by wide green fields, lived a young boy named Arif. Arif was intelligent and capable, but he had one serious weakness. He worried about everything. Even the smallest difficulty felt huge to him. If the weather was too hot, he complained. How can anyone study in this heat? If his teacher gave him homework, he sighed and said, "This is too hard for me." When his mother asked him for help at home, he would respond, "Why is everything so difficult in my life?" Day after day, Arif focused only on what was wrong. Slowly, people around him began to notice. Friends avoided him. Neighbors lost patience. No one likes to stay close to someone who sees only problems. One evening, Arif sat quietly in his room, sighing again and again. His father heard him. This time, instead of scolding him, his father calmly said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." Confused, Arif followed his father out of the house. They walked for a long time, until they reached a small pond on the edge of the village. The water was still, silent, peaceful. His father took a handful of salt from his pocket and gave it to Arif. "Throw this into the pond," he said. Arif did as he was told. Then his father said, "Now taste the water." Arif bent down, scooped some water into his hands, and took a sip. He immediately spit it out. "It's bitter, very salty," he said. His father nodded but said nothing. Then his father took Arif further, to a wide, flowing river not far from the village. The river moved calmly, endlessly, carrying everything in its path. Once again, his father handed him salt. "Throw it in," he said. Arif obeyed. "Now taste the water," his father said again. Arif drank from the river. His eyes widened in surprise. "It tastes fresh," he said. "I can't taste the salt at all." That's when his father smiled. He placed his hand on Arif's shoulder and said gently, "Son, life's problems are like this salt. They always exist. Their amount does not change. But what does change," he continued, "is the size of the heart that receives them. If your heart is small, like a pond, even a little trouble will make your life bitter. But if your heart becomes large, like a river, the same problems will barely affect you." Those words sank deep into Arif's heart. That night, as he lay awake in bed, Arif kept thinking about the pond and the river. For the first time, he questioned himself. Maybe life is not as cruel as I believe, he thought. Maybe the problem is not life. Maybe the problem is the way I face life. Before falling asleep, he whispered to himself, "If I remain a pond, I will suffer. But if I become a river, I can handle anything." The next morning, Arif made a decision. He would change, slowly, patiently, but surely. When his teacher gave him extra homework, he felt the old frustration rising. But instead of complaining, he told himself, "This is a chance to grow." When his mother asked him to carry heavy buckets of water, he felt tired. But this time he smiled and thought, "This is how I become stronger," even when the sun burned hot on his back. Instead of shouting or blaming, he said quietly, "This is another test. I will face it. It wasn't easy." Old habits don't disappear overnight. Sometimes he wanted to complain again. Sometimes he felt weak. But every time, he remembered his father's words, the pond and the river, and he kept moving forward. Weeks passed. Then months. Something amazing began to happen. Arav started to change. He was no longer a boy who broke down over small things. His face looked calmer. His mind felt lighter. People around him noticed the difference. His friends wanted to spend more time with him. His teacher praised his effort in class. His parents felt proud. And most importantly, Arav felt peaceful inside. Problems didn't disappear. Storms still came. Failures still happened. Hard days still tested him. But now, Arav no longer drowned in them. Instead, he carried his problems the way a river carries stones, without stopping its flow. One evening, as the sun slowly disappeared beyond the horizon, Arav sat quietly beside the river. He watched the water move endlessly. Leaves, branches, stones, everything passed through it. Nothing stayed long enough to stop it. Arav smiled softly and whispered, "There is a simple solution to every problem in life. It is not about removing the salt," he said. "It is about becoming a river. So, my friend, remember this. Life will always have difficulties. There will be hard days. There will be sleepless nights. There will be moments when you feel tired and broken. But the answer is not to complain. The answer is not to run away. The answer is to grow bigger inside. Problems do not get smaller. We grow stronger. And when we grow, even the heaviest problems feel lighter. So the next time life feels overwhelming, ask yourself one simple question. Are you a pond or are you a river?